The Prime Minister has evaded questions about a secretive Sydney dinner with the son of a man accused of deceiving the tax office. Political correspondent Cam Redden has more.
The Prime Minister has seemingly confirmed he did attend a dinner last week at the family mansion of Felix Lee, who the Nine newspapers report was offering a substantial donation to the Labor Party.
Oh, look, I attend lots of functions.
What about this one?
I attend lots of functions in lots of places.
What about this dinner at Point Piper?
I attend lots of functions in lots of places.
Why don't you want to answer that?
But this one attracts attention because Mr Lee's father, Philip, faces allegations of deceiving the ATO to funnel money out of China into Australia.
Well, I'm not aware of those issues.
Should you have been aware?
He wasn't there.
If the Prime Minister's uncomfortable with that donation, well, then perhaps he should knock it back.
One Nation leader Pauline Hanson is also asking for a please explain, saying if Labor didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any.
There's rules and regulations regarding this, and at all times we abide by those.
Labor hasn't revealed how much money was donated, and we might not find out until that figure is formally declared, but government sources claim it was much less than the reported figure of $1 million.
All right, joining me now, our panel, Labor MP Joe Brisky and LNP member Leon Rebello. Thank you for your time. I might start on Cam's story so I don't have to introduce it. We know the rules, Joe. We know the rules, understand the declaration of the rules. Putting that to one side, should the PM be willing to actually justify a dinner he went on when this family is accused of deceiving Australian authorities to funnel hundreds of millions of dollars to Australia?
Look, as the Prime Minister has said, he goes to a numerous amount of events and dinners. The gentleman in question wasn't at the event. I appreciate, but this is, as the PM has said, it is part of the job of, especially as Prime Minister, to be, attending a number of different events and dinners.
And it's not part of your job to ask about why you're going to a $40 million house for what was either $1 million or $100,000 to be donated? Just do whatever you're told?
Good day, Australia. See this, a $40 million mansion in Point Piper, a lovely dinner and a Prime Minister who suddenly can't remember where he's been eating lately. Sounds harmless, right? Wrong. Stick around because this one dinner party is about to expose 3 enormous cracks running straight through our democracy. Quick favour, if you're loving this breakdown, let me see you hit that subscribe button right now. Over 90% of viewers haven't yet. It's free, takes a second, and means the world to us. Thanks if you did. Now let's get back to it.
No, as I said, the Prime Minister, as numerous other political leaders of the opposition, part of the job is attending numerous numbers of functions and events and dinners, and that is what has occurred in this instance.
So he just goes along wherever it is and never asks questions or never says, is this all above board? Tell me about these donors. He just goes along. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying, Tom. What I'm saying is... You say
he goes to lots of dinners, sure, but shouldn't he be curious about some of them? And you go, gee, this is a $40 million house. What's going on here? Is everything above board?
The Prime Minister, attends a variety of different events and dinners, as is the case. The person in question was not at this dinner. It is, everything in terms of how it is recorded and reported is above board.
All right. OK, Leon, so we've had a few instances on the other side of politics. Peter Dutton meeting Wang Zhangmo. He wanted citizenship at the time. The controversial Chow Chak Wing had many meetings with various Liberal people. This is just continuing a fine tradition from the Prime Minister, is it, from both sides?
Tom, we're talking about the Prime Minister of Australia here, and this is clearly called into question his judgment as Prime Minister. We're talking about a Prime Minister who, along with his party, have been speaking about transparency and integrity in politics. They've changed the fundraising laws as a result of that, but we're seeing him evade these questions. And this is about him going to someone's house to have dinner, to do a fundraiser, to fill Labor coffers. But it's not just a fundraiser, it's a fundraiser at the residence of somebody whose family has been pursued by the ATO for, let's call it for what it is, taking the Australian taxpayer on a ride. There's something not right about that.
So no one within the Liberal Party would ever go to this same residence for a fundraiser?
Well, Tom, it should. I can tell you right now, if it was up to me and if I was asked to go to a fundraiser like this as Prime Minister, I'd do my due diligence and I'd know exactly the consequences and the circumstances of doing so, and I wouldn't be evading these questions. Australians have a right to know about the details that the Prime Minister's not been clear and upfront with the Australian people about. All
right, well, we'll mark that down. If there's a Prime Minister rebello, we've got the standard set now. I wanted to ask you as well, Joe, about the conference over the weekend. The Prime Minister saying it's the most transparent yet. We've had a Labor MP, though, feel very passionately about a particular issue when it comes to the war on Gaza. He wanted to debate it, just talk about it, and party heavyweights pressured the person who had to second the motion, otherwise it doesn't get up, to not second the motion. Is that seriously what Labor calls transparency and open debate?
So here's the entree. Anthony Albanese turns up to a private dinner hosted by Felix Lee, son of a businessman currently getting cosy attention from the tax office over some seriously dodgy money movements. There are whispers of a donation, maybe up to $1 million, though the government insists it was much less, which is politician speak for please stop asking. When journalists pushed Albanese for details, his answer was basically a shrug wrapped in a suit. I attend lots of functions in lots of places. Mate, so does a wedding celebrant, but they don't dodge questions about who's paying the bill. Now, before you think this is a one-side special, let's be fair. Both sides of politics have a fine tradition of questionable dinner guests. But here's the difference. When you're the Prime Minister, the bar isn't everyone does it. The bar is set the standard. And that's crack number one. Accountability quietly sliding out the back door.
Tom, I was at the conference on the weekend, of which the media was there for the entire duration of the conference as well. We are the only political party that opens up our doors to our national decision and our most premium decision-making body, that is our national conference. And I respected he was one of many delegates who had the opportunity to discuss and put his views forward. I was also on the conference floor when both Josh Burns and Bassem Abdo spoke to this issue and the importance of unity and coming together on this significant and very complex issue, and that was on display at that conference. It was it was a moving and meaningful opportunity to participate in that discussion.
But as to the debate, Ed Husic wanted the debate. There was a seconder lined up. They were pressured not to be the seconder, weren't they?
As I said, it was an opportunity for both Josh Burns of the Jewish community and Bassem Abdo with his connections with.
But I'm not talking about Josh and Bassem.
This is
I'm talking about Ed Husic and the person who was going to second. They were pressured. There was one person in particular from the Maritime Union that was pressured not to second. That's true, isn't it?
Ed, like every delegate had the opportunity to put motions forward. There's a range of conversations and debates, and that's how conferences always occur. When I'm talking to the importance of the issue that Ed wanted to discuss and was discussed at the conference was put forward by both Josh and Bassem, who presented such an important moment of unity and our government's position around a two-state solution on what is, as I said, a very complex issue. I respected, and he was among the many hundred conference delegates who put forward a range of different ideas and motions. But no, in terms of our conference
and
being
he's been told never
it is
again
the
the
most
front
transparent.
bench because he's rocking the boat too much.
As I said, our conference is one of the most transparent of any political party. There's no other political party who opens up its doors to the media for the entirety of the conference. It was a variety of different conversations and debates around who we are as a party, both short and long-term objectives of who we want to be as a Labor government. I think it was a really successful conference.
Okay, all right. Let me ask you about this, Leon. Look, however open you'd call the Labor Party conference. It's certainly open to the media. It's more so than, the Liberal Party doesn't have the equivalent. You're right now wrestling with how to get members back in engagement. What do you think of something open to all members to actually have views on policies, and if they're at a certain level to be able to start debates? Could that be something that gets rank and file back into your party?
Tom, we have the most democratic party system in Australian politics, and every single member of the Liberal National Party, as is the case here in Queensland, has the ability to put forward motions, to discuss motions, and for those to be discussed at a state level across our branches. Now, I attended a recent LNP convention, and can I say it was very, very different to what we've seen from this Labor conference. What we had was not 3 days of talking about ourselves, which Joe's just admitted to doing, talking about our future as a party. We didn't do that, and neither was it about talking about foreign conflicts. Ours was focused on what Australians want us to talk about, which are the issues such as cost of living, how we can have better energy in this country, more abundant energy.
It's not all open to media,
housing.
so that's a difference there, right?
No, well, it's not, but we do open parts of the convention to the media, and we afford members in the Liberal Party the ability to actually have those open discussions. From what you've said in relation to Ed Husick's situation, just because they had it open to the media didn't mean that the socialist arm of the Labor Party didn't stamp its foot down and prevent him from actually having that discussion. So there's a big difference there.
Speaking of things sliding out the back door, let's talk about crack number 2. Labor held its national conference, proudly calling it the most transparent one yet. Cameras everywhere, doors wide open, except when it came to a motion on Gaza. The seconder mysteriously withdrew after some reported pressure. That's not transparency, that's a magic trick. Look over here at the open doors while we quietly close the one that actually matters.
Leon and Joe, this is a snippet from an ABC program called Race Around the World, with some fairly disparaging comments. It's a theoretical comment, I suppose you'd call it, about Gina Rinehart. For you and the viewers, have a listen.
Because when the revolution comes, will you hide under your bed? Or will you know exactly how to shove a stick right up Gina Rinehart's butthole, stirring it round, mixing her guts up nice and smooth, making her into one big sausage roll, to make something out of nothing.
So the ABC not apologising, mentioning amongst other things satire. Hard to know where to start. I mean, satire, I guess, first of all, isn't an excuse for anything, is it? We can, political figures. Gina Rinehart's not a political figure. She's obviously a significant Australian. You can have a debate around policies and what people say. But what's this, Joe? Should the ABC apologise for something that doesn't come across as satire to me?
Look, it's always, concerning around that level of conversation, or something that sort of sends a message of, not violence, I'd say, but look, it's hard. It's hard to get that balance right. I respect that Gina is not a political player, but she's obviously, is quite connected, both to, has been at times with the Liberal Party as well as now, obviously, One Nation. So she is, she does play a political role and part of the political landscape. However, it's important, with, responsibility, with satire or any commentary around independent speaking comes with it a responsibility to, not to harm others or to indicate that level. So, yeah, it's hard. That's a hard one.
When you say hard to get the line right, I mean, that sounds like a pretty, a description of a graphic sexual assault. It's not a very hard line to get right, is it?
No, in terms of, I think it's important that we, as I said before, it worries me, and I don't think that is right. But what I'm saying is we've got to make sure, either with freedom of speech and satire and the opportunity to hold in particular, political leaders or other well-known figures, of which Gina is. But that to me, is concerning. It concerns me, that level of commentary.
Leon, there was a lot of anger on the left when the various depictions of Julia Gillard were made, and I think it's fair enough. And is this a case of, well, You know, just because you on the left, you might not like this figure seen as on the right. They say, oh, it's okay, go hard. Are you surprised the ABC's not apologising?
Well, whether it's left or right, Tom, I think the issue here is that the ABC needs to lift its standards. That sort of stuff, you know, Joe can talk about freedom of speech, but that sort of stuff is inappropriate in this context. And I think that, you know, to know that that is taxpayer funded and that they're focused on things like that, like surely with all the issues that Joe and her crew have created for this country, they should be focused on other things.
And just when you think the plot couldn't get spicier, enter the ABC. A satire segment aimed at Gina Rinehart went from cheeky to genuinely grim, using violent and degrading language dressed up as comedy. Now, satire's always poked at the powerful. That's healthy. But there's a difference between clever mockery and content that makes you wonder if anyone read it out loud before hitting publish. Crack number 3, media norms wobbling under the weight of shock value. So what have we got? A Prime Minister avoiding questions, a party managing dissent behind a transparency curtain, and a public broadcaster testing how far satire and stretch before it snaps. None of these alone topples a democracy, but together they're a pattern worth watching closely. Thanks so much for watching, and please don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments below.